What is going on, crypto peeps? Great to see you. Happy Saturday morning to you. I apologize, I haven't uploaded in a while. I've been moving, but now the move is over and I got my whole setup, as you could see. So we are right back in this. Let us jump right into the markets real quick. So what I wanted to talk about today was Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, because the blue chips are making noise at the current moment. Let us take a look at the overall market. So you see that the market cap currently is at 470 billion. That is very healthy compared to, where we've been over the last couple of months. This is as high as we've gotten over the last couple of months. BTC's dominance, there seems to be an inverse relationship between the market cap and BTC's dominance. The higher this goes, the lower this is, which is great because, we don't just want the market to be based on Bitcoin. We do want some of these alts to be driving the market as well. So let us jump right into Bitcoin. You can see that we are on a steady uptrend. This is also confirmed by the RSI, the MACD, and the stochastics. Our long-term resistance right now is at around 11,600, and we have our floor at 6,600. Now, obviously, these are the two extremes within this channel that we've been in since after January. If we go a little more granular than that, our resistance was at 9,600, a little above that, and our support was around 8,800. Now we blasted through that 9,600, and we are currently nearing 10,000. 10,000 is the next level that we're trying to hit. There is a whole number bias that's been proven over and over again in different markets. So the next level up, we're currently at 99.24, and this is in US dollars. The next level up is 10K, and if we can break 10K, then we can reach for some of these next levels on the fib. The good thing is that we're trading above all three EMAs, exponential moving averages right now. And like I said, the indicators do support this bullish run. Now, why do I have two fib retracements? You might be asking yourself that question. Well, you can have as many as you want, and what you're trying to do is set different support and resistance levels based on previous prices and what the security is likely to retrace to. So if you see this fib retracement right here is capped at that 11,600 resistance we were talking about. This one is set a little bit higher at this resistance level, which seems out of range for us currently, but it's nice to have a larger outlook for if and when Bitcoin does break that 10K and is on a run back to these anomalous highs. So this is really just a reference point. What I'm really using to establish support and resistance levels is this Fibonacci right here, which uses that 11.6 as the target resistance, or the target long-term resistance for now. Moving on to Litecoin. So you see on Litecoin, there are a couple of bullish patterns already forming. There's this double bottom here. This right here, these are called three white soldiers. We've talked about it. I think it was the last video or the video before. This is definitely a bullish signal. Now, this is today's candle, so we have yet to see how it plays out, but the way that it's forming looks like it is part of this bullish pattern right here. We have about 7 hours left to go on this candle. The RSI is bullish. The MACD, you could see that the crossover already happening. That's bullish. The stochastics shows a upwards momentum still. Looking at the Fibonacci, you see that we are nearing the 0.618 fib level, which is at around $185. The 0.618 fib level is a point of decision making. We need to see whether the bulls take us over into the promised land or the bears come in and say, no, we're not ready yet to break this barrier. So let's keep an eye out for this 0.618 fib level. We are currently at around $180. If we do see a retracement back down, there are buy zones here. I usually like to stick to, between the 0 and 0.382 is a buy zone. As a definitive buy zone, you could definitely buy at 0.5 or start scaling in at 0.5. It really depends on what the trend is doing at the time. Another thing to note is we are currently trading and closing over all three EMAs, these exponential moving averages, which is a great sign because we really haven't traded over them consistently since all the way back in late February, early March. You could see this dip here. All right, let's move over to Ethereum, everyone's favorite bull. Ethereum, if you remember towards the beginning of the year, we've talked about this before, but it was really holding up well during the crashes, sustaining itself and limiting its losses at a much slower rate than, say, Bitcoin or Litecoin or any other altcoin, really. And you could see that after the beginning of April, we've been on this parabolic run almost that took us from, we were below 400, and now we are currently at 820. So we have more than doubled in the price of Ethereum just within a month. If you follow us on the Patreon and the Discord, you'll see that I sent out multiple trade alerts for Ethereum, actually catching it before this parabolic run. So we've already made some pretty great gains on Ethereum. If you're interested in the trade alerts and the weekly crypto picks, follow the Patreon link in the description below. Looking at the Fibonacci, you'll see that we have the one level set at this hard point of resistance, which is at around 870. We're not that far off from there. We're at 820 right now. But that is definitely the long-term resistance. You could see this rounding bottom pattern forming. This usually turns into a cup and handle, both of which are bullish signals, the rounding bottom itself, as well as, the cup and handle if and when it forms into that. So we will likely have to draw another Fibonacci retracement pretty soon here in order to try and determine what the next levels are. It is currently trading over all three EMAs, the 50, 100, and 200. And if we look from the fundamental side, there are a couple of news items that might affect the price of Ethereum. So there is the SEC and CFTC meeting that this will occur on May 7th on Monday, and they are looking to determine whether Ethereum can be deemed a security or not. Now, the reason that is important for Ethereum is that if it is a security, then the way that it's traded, on these exchanges that we currently use is likely going to change, and the SEC might force it to go down the traditional route of trading on a traditional market or an equity market as opposed to an exchange like Binance or Coinbase or GDAX or whatever. It will also have implications from a tax perspective. So if it does deem it as a security, it is seen by the market as something negative, at least in the short term, but all signs point to it not being deemed as a security. And all this means is that that the news on Monday, which is likely to be that Ethereum won't be deemed as a security, might then shoot up the price even more. As you can see, here's a quote by Joseph Lubin, who's one of the co-founders of Ethereum. He said, "We spent a tremendous amount of time with lawyers in the US and in other countries and are extremely comfortable that it is not a security. It never was a security." This seems like a play by the SEC. They've been trying to get a hold of crypto and regulate it and control it any way they can. So they're going to go for low-hanging fruit. Ethereum is also currently trying to solve the problem of scaling. There are a lot of smart people behind Ethereum. It's just a matter of time, just as this article says. I don't think it is going to be a long-term issue. It's just a matter of how to go about it. We've heard of talk of sharding for a while. There is definitely some... There are definitely some paths that Ethereum can take. It's just a matter of them getting consensus as to what is the best way to go about it and then executing properly. But I don't think in the long term scaling will be an issue for Ethereum. It's an issue now that we have to solve. But again, we are in the infant stages of crypto and of Ethereum. So I have no doubt in my mind, and I have all faith that they will actually solve the scaling issue when the time comes. Finally, let's move over to Ripple. Now, if we're looking at Ripple priced against BTC, the last three securities we looked at, Litecoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, were priced against USD because you can buy those against USD. So if you look at Ripple priced against Bitcoin, you'll see that it was on an uptrend here, and now we're trading in this sideways, this really bland channel here. And the reason is we do see, with alts priced against BTC, for the most part, when BTC is on a parabolic rally, like we saw earlier, the price of alts against BTC, either they take a hit or they stagnate for the time being, and they wait to see where Bitcoin stabilizes at. So if we take a look at, let's take a look at Ripple priced against USD. Whoops. So here's Ripple priced against USD, and right off the bat, there is something that jumped out at me, and it's the relationship between the RSI and the price. Now, what we look for in terms of sensing strong signals, or an indication of some sort of reversal or continuation between the RSI and the price, is you look for what's called a divergence, and that's just a fancy word for there being a difference in trend between the RSI and the price. So if we look here at the RSI, you'll see that the low between this point and this point has actually gotten lower. So we made a lower low on the RSI, where if we take the same exact time period with the price, you'll see that we made a higher low. Now, this is what's called a bullish hidden divergence. When the price and the RSI don't move in congruence and you see a lower low on the RSI and a higher low on the price, that is a hidden bullish divergence, and that usually means that there is a lot of strength behind this upward movement if it's going up. Looking at the RSI recently, it definitely looks like we have upward momentum. If we zoom in on the MACD, you could see that it is just starting to converge right here, where the blue, the 12, is jumping above the 26. You can barely see it, but it is happening. So that is a great sign. Stochastics as well. Going back to the stochastics, we see that we are still in a upward momentum on the stochastic. I would like to see a little more volume coming in here to support this growth. We do see this overall rounding bottom pattern possibly forming. So if we continue to parabolically rise, we do see this rounding bottom pattern forming. A lot of alts actually have the same exact pattern. Unfortunately, we're still beholden to Bitcoin's price, and you could see that, you know, throughout the time that we've been making this video, Bitcoin has actually fallen below 9,900. We're now in the high 9,800s. Bitcoin is just trying to consolidate and find its normalcy right now, because it has been, you know, rising steadily. So we might continue to see it in a sideways channel for a few days before rising again, or, you know, before we see a dip. It really depends on whether it can stay above this 9,600 fib, this 9,600 price level, which is the 0.618 fib, as well as this previous point of resistance that we were able to break over the last couple of days. So as long as we don't fall below that 9,600 price level, I think we are okay. If we do fall below it, then we should expect a retracement in the overall market, really. And as we talked about before, if we do see a dip in Bitcoin or a stagnation in Bitcoin, then we can expect that some of the alts priced against Bitcoin, the EOSs, the TRXs, even the Ripples priced against Bitcoin, NEO maybe, some of the ones that have been doing well over the last month, we could expect them to rise in price if we do see Bitcoin stagnate or drop a little bit. Last but not least, again, I'm going to this Blockchain Connect conference, which is in San Jose in Silicon Valley between June 26th and 27th. I do have a free ticket. I haven't yet decided how I'm going to give that away. I will be doing a giveaway video of some sort soon, so look out for that. Stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the Patreon for the trade alerts and the weekly report. Stay safe out there. Peace.